All right. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're all having yourselves a fantastic start to the day. Happy Friday. A few things for us to talk about, right? Today is the last day here prior to a long weekend, right? Markets are closed on Monday. I think it's Martin Luther King Day or Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Sorry, Americans. I'm not quite sure what it is. But yeah, markets are closed. So going to be a little bit cautious here just to make sure I don't do anything that essentially ruins my long weekend. Right, so normal stream schedule will resume on Tuesdays once markets open back up here for us. But for me, short term here today, right, still pretty much going to be looking to take advantage of the same narrative that we've essentially been looking at here so far this week, right? We're looking for volatility breakouts, and we're looking for a little bit of range and enthusiasm to step back in. That kind of invalidates this, we'll call it 3% of range over the last month or so. Now, we had PPI come out here this AM. And okay, came in fine. No real huge reaction on the index, right? We're gapping down 10 cents from yesterday's close. So we're definitely going to want to catch our breath here a little bit this morning and not force it until we get that clear indication of trending price action. Yesterday, everyone was screaming like it was going to be a, oh my gosh, end of the world bearish breakdown. And we ended up getting a pretty nice looking least bearish candle on a lot of names across the board, and not really a very strong indication that either bulls or bears are in control. So if we are going to want to see that kind of enthusiasm or narrative show back up, right, we're going to require a certain volume standard to take advantage of. And if we do get that volume standard, maybe would be a little bit surprising going into a long weekend. So let's see how the day shapes up here. Let's see where that enthusiasm kind of creeps in. And then we can go from there. So good morning, Greg. Hopefully you're staying warm. Good morning, Suresh, Craig, Gary, Gabe, Ruben, Vlad, Clark, Mike, and Topher. Hope you guys are all having yourselves a fantastic start to the AM. And yeah, I'll start mapping things out here a little bit this morning. So like I said on the SPY, right, this is now going to be technically, right, and this is where it can be a little bit silly. But this is technically a 3 for 3, right? Red candle, increasing volume, and now a little bit of a gap down here this morning, but not a very strong indication of bearish momentum really in either direction. I'm still going to be a little bit cautious here. I'm basically just going to look for that breakout to occur, and I don't think that that's going to be in play here on the SPY this morning. So let's go to Apple, right? Very similar look here, opening up and maybe a bit more in the middle of that range. Again, a technical 3 for 3 here to the downside. Maybe one thing that's worth keeping an eye for is that this essentially looks a little bit like a bear flag to me. Now, we had a few other bear flags here, like Coinbase had one. We talked about that a little bit this week. But this is maybe another similar type setup, right? So there's your flag, right? There's your flag pull. Whoops, if I can draw. If you can now get a breakdown here, could absolutely be in play. But we don't really have that information here this morning, because we're looking for that trend breakout here, or we're looking for that enthusiasm breakout. We still want to see essentially that pop on volume, and that still hasn't really happened. So although it's increasing volume standard, it's not exactly an outlier momentum here, so we can't really call this particularly strong bears. So look, I can get a breakout here, but it's going to be $2 away, or 1.5%, 2% away potentially from occurring from where price action is opening. So it might be a little bit of a patient day on Apple here as well. We can map this out, but it needs to be a breakout over 187. So just a slight update to what we had there yesterday. Hey, Celestine, how you doing? There we go. So still looking at that same narrative, right? Yesterday might be a 3 for 3, but look, this is more telling me high volume, or more telling me indecision with the higher high and lower low, and then opening up in the middle of the range. So yeah, if a breakout happens, sweet, but probably not the most likely outcome here this morning. Okay, Tesla continues to be a bit of an outlier here. Hey, Rusty, how you doing? Not sure if you can confirm or deny, Rusty, but I heard rumors that you are declining the Alabama job to focus on your trading. Just hearing that from sources, but up to you if you want to confirm that publicly or not. Tesla here, right? So really significant gap down, gapping down about $8 here this AM. This continues to be a name that's giving us that outlier. Hey, Joe, how you doing? Hopefully you have a good hour here to focus with us, get a nice clean play this morning. So Tesla here, right? I think this probably continues to set up as a possible Bollinger Band reversal setup, but we would like to see that outlier volume step back in. So still biggest volume of the week. Again, this is a technical 3 for 3, but now this gap down maybe a little bit, a little bit of a sell-off, like a little bit too aggressive for where we're at, maybe price action-wise. So if we could fill that gap here, I think that could absolutely be in play. But we need to see a larger volume standard than what we saw yesterday. Fine, all right, and that looks okay. Okay, sorry. Okay, Microsoft, right? What would we say this is here? So 2 out of 3, but what's the 2 out of 3 telling us? Yeah, it's high volume indecision. So probably worth just being a little bit cautious here and avoiding this. Probably sets up as an inside bar day or something along those lines. And we either get a trend creating breakout here, maybe Tuesday, or we get sort of that breakdown next week. Okay, Meta higher, it's inside bar here. So we need to see a inside bar breakout, right? So that'd be above 373 by the looks of it. So yesterday, right, we're calling that an inside bar and we're saying that that was consolidation. What would we need to see here today to break out of that consolidation? Any ideas? So if we're willing to call this, yeah, inside bar. Yeah, so well, it's already outlier volume, so let's be specific. What would be the exact standard? So if we're saying that yesterday's volume was consolidation, how would we clearly say that momentum is back in? It's just got to be higher than the consolidation standard, right? So if we got stuck yesterday and this was the standard that we got stuck on, then it would say that if we got bigger than that bearish volume, we should be unstuck, right? So that's really the standard that we're going for here. And we just need to see bigger than what we saw yesterday. Hey, GD, how you doing? Of all the names that we've looked at here so far, Apple, Tesla, Meta, which one probably looks the strongest? Yeah, I think Meta as well, Clark. You're spot on. Okay. Amazon here looks a little bit like that Microsoft, right? But maybe a little bit more expanded, possibly a little double top break or fake out. So high volume indecision, expanded Bollinger Bands, a sight for sore eyes from yesterday. So I think this is probably one to watch versus one to trade. Yeah, Joel, you're spot on as well there with the volume standard, right? It's got the most impressive recent history. We'll call it last couple days. Maybe Tesla a little bit better. No, I'd say Meta's better. But if we can get a nice breakout here, I think this is the highest probability look. Okay, AMD. I think that's a pass. NVIDIA, I think a pass too. Expanded Bollinger Bands, higher high, higher low. But I think this is telling me a lot of selling volume, a lot of pressure. Might just need to catch its breath. Okay, Visa, opening up middle of the range. I'll pass. Exom. Loves that $100 area, but can't seem to really break out above or under. Okay, Netflix, a little bit of an outlier here, right? That volume is pretty crazy. Was there a news event on Netflix yesterday? Or we just think that's a 500 rejection? Not really. Okay, that's interesting. So ad subscribers at all-time highs. I mean, that could be a potential catalyst for us. I mean, that's big volume going into earnings next week. Or 10 days from now, whatever it is. I mean, I think this is worth looking at. But oh boy, you're going to need some impressive volume here. Okay, so we need to see high vol breakout, right? And it's got to be bigger than yesterday. And this can go fast, okay? So we'll go... It's kind of like where the resistance is, right? It's sort of that next shelf here, up and over. So feels like there's a lot of space on this Netflix. Look, it might be one of those names where, like, the thing we had to worry about with on Netflix this week, right, was how it just got a little bit spready. And if we see that spread continue to behave a little bit erratically, then I would imagine that this ends up being a little bit more of a trap. Now, if that news narrative ends up playing here this morning. Certainly seems like this has the volume pace to at least be the kind of like focus probably of a lot of people. So there is an opportunity for us to get a pretty decent pop here, but we can't allow that to be a compromised version, right? So it's got to be absolutely perfect. Volume standard wise, that might be, I'm definitely going to need to see bigger than close. A lot of that volume is buying volume yesterday. Failed 500 breakout. Now we're holding above. So I'm not sure if I necessarily need to see bigger than anything yesterday, but I need to see bigger than anything bearish yesterday. And preferably bigger than this like 5-min rejection. See what I mean? So we can get like same volume as the open yesterday, primo, but that might be an unrealistic standard for us to achieve. So I want to see bigger than the bearish as a bare minimum. Okay, Coinbase 3 for 3 here to the downside on this bear flag. Talked about that a little bit. But, yeah, it's going to be a no for me. Still as a day trade. So that 120 range starts to get interesting again. Okay, Google or Goog. Higher high, higher low. Opening middle of the range. This screams indecision. Same thing with Google, right? Opening up middle of the range screams indecision. And then BA 2 for 3 here to the downside. So this is maybe setting up again as a Bollinger Band reversal setup, right? So 2 out of 3 without volume. Really expanded Bollinger Bands. Now down 11% on the week. So I think we could look at this as a possible Bollinger Band reversal setup here. And then what would be the volume standard we want to see? Yeah, if we can get, I mean, bigger than yesterday for sure has to be the bare minimum. And we probably also want to see SPY cooperation here again. So, look, one thing from yesterday that I want to take into today's session is no kind of fighting the index. So if the index is falling, breaking down, I shouldn't see like a counter setup, right, that is like leading that. I want to see index telling the same story as any name. And then also if I can get just back to that outlier standard, I mean, this could absolutely be in play. So it's not the busiest of watch lists, right? I got Apple, Tesla, Meta, Netflix, and BA. Excuse me. So I'm not the most optimistic that this is going to be the busiest of sessions. It's been a strong week here so far. So I'm also not super motivated to force anything or give anything away or to compromise that. But if I do get an A+ setup, I will not hesitate to go after it. It'll just be a question of, can I get the right combo here to take advantage of? And then if I do get that combo, yeah, hopefully it's not really a pain in the ass to find ourselves an entry and we can get the position sizing that we want. Few things to talk about, right? Otherwise, besides that, like I said, it's going to be a long weekend there this week. So not anticipating the craziest of volume necessarily. And we're going to need a little bit of an outlier reaction. And the majority of the names that we have looked at here so far today, we're going to need pretty big volume standards to step in to actually then get tradable PA. So I'm not going to be compromising there, not going to be forcing anything there, not going to be rushing into a silly decision, and more or less just going to be putting myself in a situation where it is still relatively easy for me to be successful. So let's control those variables. We got 15 minutes here to market open. So if you guys have any suggestions, any names that you're looking at, any tickers that you want to go over, please pop them in the chat. Let's break them down. Let's go over them. But otherwise, yeah, gonna take a minute or two here to set up for a successful trading day. That's pretty reasonable. 1,000 shares would be still pretty good position sizing for most people to get what they want. And if it's that consistent across the board, I think it's a leverage-based sizing restriction or 10 lots. So that'll be really consistent, right? So if you're trading an NVIDIA or you're trading a BA or you're trading a Coinbase, you can always get the same sizing. You don't have to go 500 on one, 150 on another. Like there won't be those kind of complications, which I think is a really strong positive, all things considered. All right, guys, I'm going to go make myself a quick cup of coffee. If you have any questions, pop them in the chat. We'll go over them in a minute or two, but I'll be back in a few minutes. Yeah, so those splits are exactly the same way that was set up previously, right? So I was purchasing the 90% add-on for everyone independently, so you could do that. Which process are you looking for more information on, Gabe? Maybe it's something I could do a video on. Are you talking about the process of signing up or the process of executing and entering orders? Personally, I think static drawdown is better than trailing drawdown. Because if you take a payout, right, if you have a trailing drawdown, you set a high watermark. And then whatever you withdraw essentially is still your drawdown from that high watermark. So a trailing drawdown, to a certain extent, if you want to keep access to your account, can cap the amount you take per payout. Yeah, exactly. Like you'd want to withdraw, I don't know, half or a certain amount or whatever it is. Well, no, you'd be able to withdraw all your profits, but then if you had like a losing trade, it would go into drawdown. Guys, any questions about the names we're looking at here this morning? Yeah, anything along those lines? All right, so we're going to open up at 220 here on Tesla, right? Setting the day up for a possible BB reversal setup. We want to see strong market cooperation to actually also get that move. Pin this. Oh, weird. Yeah, so like I said, right, we need to see very impressive volume standards here this morning. Otherwise, not going to be that interested in these moves, right? Or have less expectation that they're actually going to pop and really run for me, right? Going into a long weekend, possibly some challenging PA. So just want to be cautious, right? Want to be patient. So Tesla probably the most likely to give us the volume based on that pace here so far. Yeah, that's an 8 cap restriction, VLAD. It's the same thing that, I mean, you weren't here when that was sort of in play, but that's fine. I personally don't place any trades opening 5 minutes anyway. You should see that restriction lifted here in approximately 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Yeah, I wouldn't say that that's make or break, to be honest. Or at least not an issue that I would deal with in my trading very often or at all. So, yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. Okay, so we're going to be close on this Tesla. We'll keep an eye on that. We'll come back to it. Meta not quite breaking out. Netflix still $2, $3 away. If we were to summarize this morning's pre-market prep or sort of the theme of the day that we saw, what would we suggest that that theme was? And even like, let's think about maybe a Netflix, think about a Microsoft, think about a Microsoft. Think about the candles and the volume profiles that we've seen. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'd say reversals, but I'd say either indecision or like overreactions or catch your breath. So far, what do we see on the SPY, right? Maybe on the SPY, we're seeing a little bit of that indecision at these highs, right? Microsoft does the name, right? Maybe a little bit of indecision here on decreasing volume. So we just want to make sure that we're not chasing an outlier here again. Now, it's hard to see the volume here. This is a freaking pain in the ass. So it is a little bit more than yesterday's open, but now making an instant higher high prior to pulling back. So what we do, right, pass on the burden of confirmation higher. I can just make the volume smaller. You know what? Oh, that's the 10 minutes, sorry. So yeah, hopefully that's fine. Looks fine. But you could also point, if you have on your volume indicator, if I bring this back onto my chart, if you point on a specific candle, if you can see here, I'm pointing with my finger like an idiot, but you can see the amount of shares traded. So if you hover over that candle, it'll show you. So then I can go back to previous candle and say, okay, opening 10-min bar, I saw 7.996. So far on this 10-min bar, I've got 5.81. Then go back to the 5. Okay, we got 5.061. Previous was 4.613. So I can see it that way. So, and not a ton of volume on most names. I would say Netflix is the bit of the outlier there. Not a strong enough candle shape for me. So if we can get a stronger candle shape, yeah, you could play that BB reversal, but you need a bit more cooperation here. So I always want strong candles to show a strong volume. Yeah, Aimnesh, so I'm drawing it from my profit target down towards my stop loss. So when I identify my profit target, that becomes the high point I use for my fib drawing. So let's say hypothetically on this Tesla trade, we're looking for a BB reversal. So my target here would be that midline, call it 227. So that would be the high point where I draw from. So from 227 down towards my stop loss location. If you go into the Discord, there should be a video here in the trading docs that's called Finding Your Formula for Success. And that explains the Fibonacci tool in a little bit more detail as well. But yeah, just think about it always from profit target to stop loss. I don't feel great about that candle, right? That doesn't feel super consistent. I mean, Meta might give us that breakout here. It's not great volume, but we need more. Okay, of course. So we still need to see a greater volume standard than what we saw there yesterday. That does not appear to have happened here yet. So can't front run this until I get that volume standard, right? If yesterday was consolidation and we're not seeing greater volume than what we saw during that consolidation period, then it's hard for us to believe that we're actually going to sustain a breakout. Okay, that's pretty reasonable, Greg. That's good knowledge to have. So definitely not enough to be detrimental to your trading. So I would say Tesla's probably the best looking here so far. Well, look, I never thought that the spreads with Surge were ever particularly egregious. There were times where, yeah, there were some pretty nasty spreads on some names, but even when we were trading on Netflix the other day, and that was directly with IBKR, I was getting like a $1.40 spread at one point. So I never thought that it was particularly painful or like that we ever felt like it was getting cheated. Okay, so I would say Tesla definitely is in play. So we're targeting midline here, right? Stop loss, low of day. So you need to see a pretty aggressive pullback here towards 221.30. Be about a $1.75 stop loss. So you could go half size or 2/3 size if you get a little bit of a deeper pullback. I'm not sure if I'm going to get that cooperation here. Facebook good or Meta good, but not good enough. Close, but no cigar type. Ooh. Nope, still not enough. Got excited there for a second. That's pretty tight. Yeah, 1 to 3 is pretty good. Those might be raw spreads. Okay, so we'll be watching this Tesla here, guys. So we got a lot of work to do here. Feels a little bit like, I don't know, maybe this is just a me problem, but it feels a little bit like things are moving in molasses here today. Okay, so if this happens here, no worries, right? Wait for this then on the 30-minute time frame. We need to see that volume get to back to increasing. But a lot of what we anticipated to maybe shape out here is kind of shaping out to a certain extent. Not a very busy volume day. Very few names giving us that increasing volume standard compared to previous day. So CPI more valuable than PPI. I think we all could have said that though. Still no higher high here technically, so we're still in play, but we got a lot of work to do. One sec, guys. We'll be back in a minute. So yeah, you guys see any action that's moving for you? Anything that's catching your eyes? So what would be the volume standard we need to get on Meta to be interested in it? Yeah, so we want to see probably bigger than any of the volume we saw there yesterday. Doesn't look like we're going to get that standard. So if I'm not getting a greater volume pace than what I saw then, it's hard for me to have too much conviction. Now this 30 min, yeah, maybe you can get that opportunity there, or on the longer time frame, not so much. Maybe the 10 min, not so much. So it has to be on this 30 min, and for you to now get that breakout bigger than what you saw yesterday, or to get that pullback, might be challenging. So no go on the 5, better on the 30, but the pullback you now need to see on the 30 to say get towards, we're targeting 378 here. It's pretty aggressive. So yes, could be in play, but you need like a $4 pullback to then go half size. So it's got a lot of work to do. Yeah, that's spot on, Nate. Yeah, the 30 is the only bar where we're getting a clear greater than yesterday volume standard. So on the 5 min individually, no candle is showing us greater than yesterday, but collectively it is. So we need to trust the longer signal instead of trusting the shorter one, unfortunately. Same thing with Tesla, right? Tesla not giving us really good opportunity on any of the shorter time frames, not giving us exactly what we want to see on the shorter time frames. So we can rely on this on the 30. But if it takes to the 30, you start to get a little bit skeptical that it's actually going to come together. We'll see though. We got a few opportunities. I would say like a 20% chance. So maybe a little bit more likely. $2 all of a sudden is a little bit more likely. Yeah, that's fair, Joel. That's a good note for us. There's a lot of cool things you can do in TradingView, all things considered, I would say. Yeah, we can adjust, absolutely. So the 30-min target here would be midline, right? Which is approximately 228.55. So you still need to pull back towards that 221.70 area. Pretty deep pullback required. Meta looked like it was going to for a second. All right, so yeah, absolutely watching Meta, absolutely watching Tesla. Well, let's see if either of them come together. Is that biggest vol of the week on Tesla? Looks like it, right? But we got like $2 to go on both of these names at least. So we got a lot of work to do. SPY starting to look pretty ugly again here too now. So we need to see a little bit of market cooperation if I'm going to trust this. Well, but we'll be watching. So Meta from here, right? 371, 50-ish towards low of days, a little bit more than $2 per share, right? So that for me would be lotto size. So if I'm going to take this trade, I would like to see a deeper pullback than that so I can actually justify getting the sizing I want. So for me, right, that would be closer towards, say, that 370 barrier versus that 371.50. On Tesla, I mean, same thing. I'd probably want to get under 221 to actually get the sizing that I want to justify on this trade. Otherwise, I'm looking at about $2 per share, which probably isn't the number for me. So I want to get both under, for both Tesla and Meta, I want to get an entry at least $1.50, we'll call it, right from the stop loss. Otherwise, position size, right, doesn't make sense. We have some Fed speak here now, and it's kind of coinciding a little bit with a pretty rocket ship recovery here on Apple. Now, not enough for me to, again, call this tradable, but we are potentially seeing that cooperation that we'd like to see. I mean, Tesla has a chance here, guys, right? Tesla definitely has a chance. So still watching both. But just not going to force it, right? Absolutely not going to force it here. So still watching this Tesla, right? Still watching this Meta. Okay, see if Tesla can make some lows here under 228.80. Looks like it has. So now we have a chance for this thing to push down into our area. Again, though, guys, right, my main concern here is I don't want to be $2 a share. I want to be closer to that. So I'm going to be looking for the reaction around that zone. See if I can get a flush down towards sort of 221, that sort of range, and then look to take advantage of that move. Okay, we're getting close here on this Tesla, right? We are getting much closer. Well, it's significantly lower than the previous bar. So I just don't want to see it increasing, right? The problem with yesterday is that we had an increasing volume standard on our entry. We don't want to see that building momentum. We tend to expect it to remain outlier volume first 3-4 bars of the day. So that's pretty fine, right? That's pretty consistent. So this isn't behaving different than we'd maybe expect. So still watching here, right? Still watching, but it's got some work to do. All right, so be watching the indexes here as well, right? So make sure that as we're making lower lows here, we're not getting flush, we're not doing anything too aggressive, so we're very much being patient here. I do not feel the need for speed, right? There's no point forcing this or rushing this yet. We have to be convinced it's not a rug pull, right? Feels maybe a little bit of deja vu to yesterday. Just with the index cooperation, not necessarily the volume profile, but to the indexes. So still watching, right? Still watching, but being very, very patient. All right, so be steady here. Be steady. Point isn't to be first here, right? It's to be correct. If I miss this trade and it now bounces back up towards 225.20, no worries. I honestly do not give a shit. I want to make it so that it's easy for me to be green. Not sure if I'm there yet, right? Okay, so still waiting here, right? Still waiting. Still feels, I think I said this already, but it feels like things are moving in molasses a little bit here still. Not very good feedback, but I don't know. Things feel like they're moving slow today. Okay, so back to interesting watch here, right? Meta not really in play. That's pushing 375. So it's really Tesla or bust here. All right, so we want to see this get down, right? For me, as close to that 221 or under as possible. And still watching for index cooperation here. So I was trying to get things set up. So the deeper and deeper this pullback can go, the easier it is I can get like to break even, right? Or entry protection just on like a relief bounce. So it's not that I'm trying to time that, right? That's not really like, that's not the setup that I'm going for here. But I want to make sure that that rug has been pulled before I enter so that I'm not dealing with the same, we'll call it mechanics, right? That we dealt with in our trade there yesterday. So same thing, right? I'd rather miss it, but be too conservative waiting for my entry price, then be too aggressive and get stopped out? So we still got a ways to go here. Maybe another 60 cents as a bare minimum. Was it 10:28? Time of day is interesting. All right, so still watching here, right? Still watching. Longer time frames don't seem too concerning to me. They look fine. So still interested, but I need to see an aggressive pullback, right? I haven't gotten that enough oomph yet here. Okay, meta, right? Not in play. Of course, Tesla. Anyone have any exciting plans here for the weekend? Anything interesting going on? uh, Bless you, Gabe. I'm in the same spot. It's going to be quite the winter storm here. I think probably tonight, tomorrow. Man, I'm craving some sun. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Nate, I am not very confident. We can yeah, not very confident. I might be grumpy on Tuesday. Yeah, it'll probably be a lot of Eagles fans. They travel pretty well because it's pretty much every place in the world is better to live than Philly. I don't know if I have any Philly people in here. Sounds good, Greg. You have yourself a great day, man. Stay warm. Uh-oh, this is about to get political in here. Next year we'll do a DTR Fantasy Football League. We didn't do one this year for some reason. But there's enough NFL fans where you could be a little bit crazy with it. Excuse me. So in theory, I'm still interested in Tesla. I don't know if I really want to take it, but still in play. Well, there's a couple things that could invalidate this trade, GD. So I would say if we got a more aggressive volume standard than opening bar, if we made a lower low, if we run out of time, like I don't really want to be sitting and watching this for 2 hours, developing, waiting for an entry when I don't know. Could be doing something better, I guess. Again, I would say the biggest thing is that I'm getting close to my period where I stop seeing follow through higher. So I would say that would be more the restriction. If I get like a really aggressive sell off, a really big dump, and I feel like I can get like that overreaction bounce to a certain extent, then yeah, I could get pretty appealing here. But it's still got work to do. Like, I would like to see it under 221, I think, at this point. So still got a lot of work to do here. Again, watching out for index cooperation, making sure that's telling me a good enough story. Okay, so watching here, right? Watching here again, just being a little bit cautious with the indexes. Okay, better from the index here, right? Better from SPIDA. Looking like it's giving me a little bit of a bounce here. So still waiting for that good price though on Tesla. I ain't compromising. It's been too much sitting and watching to compromise all of a sudden. So still watching closely here, right? So we can get that big overreaction flush. I got everything set up here, ready to go. But I'm watching under 221, right, is my point here. So I want to see like a flush through that. We'll call it a swirly price action here. I want to see bears get humiliated on the flush, right? That's kind of what I mean by that. And the reason, right, why I'm waiting is because I can get the position sizing I want. Yes, in theory here I could enter in, but at that point I'm risking about $2.10, which is fine, but it's not justifying for me the position sizing that I want. I'd rather not have that much risk on, right? That for me is not worth it. I'd rather just see if I can get a better price and get full size. I'd rather miss the trade with so much drawdown. I find so much drawdown for myself individually or for myself personally tends just makes me emotionally attached to the trade. Where if I have to stomach $2 worth of drawdown, that's probably an hour worth of drawdown. And as a day trader, right, it's hard for me to think that I won't fall in love with my trade over the course of an hour. Like, I mean, the amount of times I fall in love with a girl, right, over the course of a drinks for an hour, let alone she's not going to make me any money, but this thing could. Right? So I just know, okay, that's why I'm looking for a deeper pullback. Because if I have a tighter stop loss, I have less drawdown, I can spend less time in the red, then I generally don't develop that feelings for it, right? Like I don't catch the feels. So that's what I'm trying to do here, right? Trying to protect myself a little bit. Trying to make sure you guys are paying attention too. Half the times, that's what it is. Spot on, Gabe. All right, let's watch this again here. Watch this again. We're going to be careful about index cooperation. And if it hits 221, right, that's not going to be an instant click for me. All right, now I'm going to be slow here, taking my breath, counting to 5, right? Like, I'm going to try to take my time here as best as I can. $10.48. See if we can give it to me. If I could flush like 60 cents to $1 from here, that would be a yes please nice. Ugh. It's weird. Days where you don't work feel like the most work sometimes. Okay, so see if we can get to watch the reaction here. We got to be a little bit careful here as well with the SPY. Right, so that continues to be my main concern here on my left-hand screen. We want to see if we can get an overreaction flush under this 221. Now we're getting closer. 10 cents away, give or take. But I want to see huge enthusiasm, like a huge embarrassment from bears, right? Haven't felt like I've had that capitulation moment yet from them. And that's maybe a little bit harder to quantify. So that's why I want to enter on like the flurry, right? Like when it's not necessarily trying to catch a falling knife, but after that exhaustion event has happened. So we're getting closer here. From this point, it's about 2/3 position size, right? So it's a little bit more interesting. I hope that wasn't my only chance. So the low point there, 220.80-ish. Right? So and I wouldn't say that that price action there was particularly flushy yet. So I think we could still probably get lower than that. Okay, so we can make new lows here. And see how aggressive those lows are. That was pretty instantly bought up on that 80 touch. Let's watch it again. $79, $76. Now we want to see the flush here. Come on, give it to me. Okay, SPY making lows. There we go. Here we go. Now we might have a chance. Remember, stop loss has to be about 219.60. Just take a deep breath, right? Don't force it. We're not trying to catch a falling knife here. We gotta be patient. It's gotta give us that capitulation here, right? It's gotta give us that. Okay, there's 58. We're getting closer. 55. Meta, still no pullback. That thing's pretty impressive. Still not ready, right? I'm still being very, very patient here, right? Increasing volume standard on this candle, so that's why I'm waiting. It's time 10:54. Still probably in play here. Okay, fine. Still think you can go lower. Lowest we saw is probably what, 220.50-ish? All right, I'm guessing that's about the lowest we've seen. So I think we could probably still get lower than that. Yeah, okay. So it's right around that area. Starting to see index cooperation here now. Better index cooperation. Dips seem to be mostly getting bought here at this point. Right, when we see price action hit 228.80 again or that kind of range, we seem to be bouncing from there. Could just be short-term supply being gobbled up, so I'm watching pretty carefully. The limit price I have said is 220.55, which feels too good to be true now, even though we were there 5 minutes ago. I get a little bit of a flush here at this 11 o'clock open. Let's see. It's definitely an interesting spot. We are getting good index cooperation at this point. Getting a reversal candle on the old spider on reversal volume. Well, increasing volume, maybe not reversal volume. You need a trend for that first. Okay, let's watch. I reckon we get a little bit of a flush here at this opening bar. That's my guess. Okay, so watching closely here again, right? I am very interested in this. Oh, you fucker. Come on, give me a flush here. Keeps buying that 80 shelf, but it's not a huge bounce from that area, which makes me think it could still fall. There it goes. Gobbled back up to 80, now under, back to 80, back under. Okay, give me some separation here. Otherwise, this ends up being a buy. There's 66. 65. All right. $0.10. Come on. For fuck's sake. Try again here. You want to get under 220.80 right as a very bare minimum. There's a 79 print. Go deeper. Come on, deep. I want like a Marianas Trench pullback here. Bringing such good index cooperation too, though. This is what I like, right? Nice entry, Topher. You might be in really good shape here. Still think I want to get just a little bit deeper. Here we go. We have a chance. All right, guys, I am in average price 220.44. I'm only in this, guys, in pretty small sizing here. 2/3 position size, 2/3 position size. Yeah, maybe this should have been the better price here now. I mean, SPY's giving me such good cooperation, but I wonder if that's a false flag operation. Okay, back to entry price. So let's see if this thing can give me some separation here. About 20 cents off of my entry. About 20 cents off of my entry. So let's see if this thing can separate. Would like to get the entry protection, just be stress-free on this. Okay, so a bit further here. Still want to go higher than this, right? Still want to go higher. Doing well here, guys, right? Doing well. So target's going to be about 221. First scale out, 221. And I'll close about a quarter of my position. Oh, fuck. Way too many. Okay, so 5 cents away here, 10 cents away. Go, 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 go. Oh, close, you prick. All right, there we go, guys. Closed a quarter of my position. All right, let's see if this thing can now bounce and keep going here. But I'm not going to let this trade go red on me. Next scale out will be maybe 221.50-ish. So excellent patience here, everybody, right? We had to really grind for this trade here today. But it's a good outcome, right? Good outcome. Maybe a little bit better on my entry. It could have been. But we really spent a lot of time talking ourselves out of rushing into that, right? So that's awesome. And we were just waiting, right, for SPY to give us that cooperation. So once we started seeing SPY give us separation off of these lows, that became the reason to then enter in on that Tesla pullback. So compared to what we had yesterday with that Amazon trade, right, we didn't see that reversal and pullback from the lows on SPY. We saw that first on Amazon, right? So we wanted to see that first here on the index level. So next target here, like I said, 221.50. and then I'll go risk-free. So about 10 cents away here. 10 cents. Push you, lunatic. Okay, 5 cents. Go, go, go. All right, there we go, guys. Closed a little bit more off there at that 221.50. Didn't quite scale out at 1R, 2R, but wanted to scale out aggressively so that I was risk-free on this trade and can now basically run this as a lottery ticket or even possibly turn this into a swing trade. Everyone green on this? Everyone understand the logic here? Everyone understand the timing? Any questions? Any concerns, guys? Happy to break this down here, but really had to work for this trade this morning, right? Really had to work for it. Congratulations to everyone who are patient with us, stuck through it, right? We entered this trade a little bit later than we normally would, but we waited for it to be absolutely perfect, and we bought that almost like overreaction like we were talking about, right? So really positive to see. But yeah, hopefully everyone's banking here. Well, our setup here was this 30-min Bollinger Band reversal, right? So biggest volume of the week, BB reversal, and then a relative low vol pullback into our appropriate risk reward zone. So it's a 30-min Bollinger Band reversal setup. So this is our plan, right? 5, 10, 15, or 30-min BB reversal on biggest volume of the week. And that's exactly what we got on that opening 30-min candle. So plan's always there. I don't trade anything besides the plan. So I'll probably close another chunk here off at 222. Say that'll be my next target. I'm being pretty aggressive, guys, in how I'm trimming this. But you have no excuse to let this trade go red here now, right? You should be green on this play. Anywhere under your entry zone, right? Anywhere in that fib zone, now green. So please don't let this trade go red, right? We have a chance here to go 4 for 5 on the week. Let's take advantage of that opportunity, not give away or piss away any gains. We have to work our ass off here this week, and it's paying dividends for us, right? I don't like this pullback as much here all of a sudden. Who else is in this with me, guys? Who else is in this with me? Anyone catch this in their eval accounts? Nice work, Nate. Nice work, John. That's awesome to hear. What strike price? Ah, great price, GD. Nice, Igor. Love to hear it, guys. Love to hear it. And I appreciate you all sticking with me through this morning. That was a weird one. So like I said, guys, next target here, 222. I'm going to close about a third of what I have left. 20 cents away. Oh, Clark, you might be winning the low price of the day here. I think that means drinks are on you, right? I think that's what that means. Why the FOMO, Vlad? Ah, but you still got a good price, no? You're still in like up $1 a share, aren't you? So that's pretty good, right? But now you know, right, what else you can work on. So like you can ask yourself, okay, why did Michael wait to get a lower price? Well, I wanted to get as close to $1 per share entry as I possibly could. I didn't want to take that $2 risk per share. I wanted to get half that so I could get a bigger sizing. I still didn't get full size. I went 2/3 on this, but that's why I waited. I mean, dude, the 1,500 shares, up $1 a share, dude, you're not complaining, right? Like, that's a great week adding on to what's been a really strong week. So just make sure that you are locking in a $1,000 win here, whatever it might be. But you're going to feel good about that. You're not going to worry about that costing you a few dollars a week from now. You're going to feel pretty stoked about that $1,500 day. So let's see if we can get some follow through up higher. I mean, if we can get, I'm dreaming of 230 here now, but that's a dream. I would have probably bought more than that, Gabe. So I probably would have bought more. 250 probably would be the number I would buy there, or 200 if you were going 2/3. What you want to be thinking about, right, is, okay, if my account is 25K or is XYZ, what's 1% of that? And if I get stopped out, am I losing more or less than 1%? Right? So your max loss number should be 1% of your total account. And then just make sure you're staying within those. But it's fine, man. 150 shares, getting $1 follow through, that's still pretty good. Like, that's a good day. Even if you get 3/4 of 1%, you compound that over a month, over 2 months, over a year. Well, you're not going to be laughing, or you're not going to be complaining about what that looks like in your account. And I also think that there's no problems with working your way up into trading your full size. So no complaints. For some reason, I would say one of my bad habits is I get nervous on pullbacks when I'm green. Kind of been noticing about that about myself a little bit. I hate seeing my P&L go back. Nah, it's all good, Gabe, and that's exactly what I'm here for. So the more questions you ask, the more feedback I can give you, and then hopefully that'll speed up your learning curve too. But glad that you're practicing, man. You're doing the right thing. See, again, like this pullback makes me feel just a little bit worse. Makes me feel a little bit nervy. It's never just instantly in a straight line up $6 per share. Why not? Why can't this job be easy? It's got to look like a my heart rate. Well, I'm going to try to stick to the plan as best as I can and just say out all my intrusive thoughts out loud. And see if we can hit that 222. That still feels like it's in play, albeit stubbornly. This is, at this point, right, 11:22. This is DTR After Hours. You guys are getting the X-rated content. Well, if you like, it's more of a follow through thing, right? So if I now got follow through up towards 225 and I'm already at the lower end of the Bollinger Band, like I'm kind of being told that the move lower has potentially happened. So I would just like to get separation back inside to almost confirm that that signal is back in play. Now, I'm personally not going to turn it into a swing trade. But, you know, if you have a small account and you want to get those huge payouts, like that would be the move, right? Just try to buy these lows, get good entries, and then not have a time clock right on when you scale out. More of a price-based thing. So again, right, we're pretty close here. 25 cents away from that profit target. Let's see if we can hit it. Give it to me, baby. I want a celebratory breakfast. Been a good week. Stressful, but good week. Okay, 15 cents. So guys, close about a third of what I have left there. We can hit it. Big if. And that order is already hanging. It's ready to get filled. It's ready to go. So I'm not going to miss it if it hits. Okay, 5 cents away here, maybe a bit more. 7 cents, 8 cents. Go, go, go. 15. I'm an auctioneer in reverse. Not what I like. Come on, go, go. 7 cents, 5 cents, 4 cents. Oh, I got 100 shares filled. Come on. Don't hold your breath. Oh, no. Okay, 5 cents. Come on. Sounds good, Antonin. You have a good long weekend, man. 2 cents. Go, you psycho. All right, there we go, guys. Closed a little bit more off there at that 222. It's turning into a nice day, guys. Turning into a nice day. Let's go. I mean, 1.5 R is incredible, Topher. That's awesome, dude. Congratulations. If you hit 1.5 R on all your wins, you're going to be more than profitable. More than profitable. Feels good though, guys, right? We really had to work for this trading today here. Really had to work for it, but glad we did. Glad we stuck through it. Glad we powered through. Kept ourselves sane. It didn't ruin our price action going into a long weekend, right? Feels really good. Followed our plan, identified the mover, sat and waited until it was perfect, did not compromise on this trade whatsoever. So that feels really positive, right? I think that's something we should all be very proud of. Everyone in here agreed on the week? Nice work, Ruben. Attaboy, Clark. Nice work, Alfred. Attaboy. Awesome, Gabe. I love to hear that. That's fantastic. Nice, Vlad. Good, good. And yeah, guys, if our risk management is good, right, if we're not doing anything too egregious, we should always be 1 or 2 trades away from all-time highs in our portfolio, right? Maybe sometimes 3 or 4, but it should never be, like, drawdown should never be 20%. So we got to make sure that our risk management ensures that that happens. And if you have 1 red trade a week and everything else is green, it should be easy to finish green, right? So if we obsess over losing small, it makes it easy to win big. So I love to see that you guys are all adapting that mindset, or adopting that mindset, I should say. Feels good. Feels really good. Appreciate that, Clark. It's definitely the right thing to obsess over. Too many people start trading because they want to win big, and then they lose everything. Good, good man. I know you had, or once you took the course, right? You had quite the turnaround. So I'm glad to see that you've just sustained that progress. That's fantastic. Ah, feels a little bit gross. Good. I mean, that's always natural too, right? Nothing moves in a straight line. No matter how much we want it to, nothing unfortunately does. But it's when you have a little regression and you're able to bounce back from that and then still keep progressing forward. I actually think that's what creates confidence in traders, right? It's the confidence that you can survive drawdown and survive a pullback and still be logical that then reinforces how important your risk management actually is. Because it's hard to feel like risk management is important if your portfolio is only going up, at least in my experience. Well, you made zero total? Confused, VLAD. Sorry, I'm confused by your comment there. So I don't understand the zero total part. I'm not sure what that means. Commissions were a bit high, zero total. Oh, okay. All out 1103 live. Not bad so far. Commissions were a bit high. Okay, that's fine. How many shares did you have? So let's see here. About 40 or 4 cents a share. 2 cents each way. Yeah, it's a little bit aggressive. I wouldn't say it's enough to cost you your edge, but definitely something to worth keep an eye on, yeah. Yeah, post it in the daily or in the daily debrief channel. Guys, I got stopped out protecting my entry there. Not a bad week, guys. Not a bad week at all. Any questions, guys? Any real questions about the price action? Anything we did here so far today? Any questions about that? Happy to answer that here now. But otherwise, going to take off pretty soon. Nice, V-Lad. Glad to hear that. Good first start, man. Well done. See, any questions, guys? Any questions? Happy to answer those concerns here now. Otherwise, going to take off. Hey, we have to work for it really hard sometimes, but I'm glad we did. Cheers, GD. Appreciate that. All right, guys. Final call here. Final call. All right, everyone. Well, congratulations on a fantastic week here, right? 4 for 5. We will never complain about that. Nice and busy, nice and productive, nice and profitable. Those are all adjectives that I definitely like repeating, so feels pretty good. I'll try to cut up this trade again, like always, for everyone to watch back or watch through, and I'll update that into the 2024 trading stats that are pinned inside the daily debrief Discord channel. But same deal like always, right? If you have any questions, hit me up outside of market hours, and I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as possible. If you guys do try to book a call for next week, if you book one on Monday, it will be rescheduled, so just pick a different day. But otherwise, have yourselves all a great one, and I'll catch up to you guys all in a few days. Peace.